Say, Earl of Suffolk, if thy name be so, what ransom must I pay before I pass? For I perceive I am thy prisoner.
How canst thou tell she will deny thy suit before thou make a trial of her love?
Why speakst thou not? What ransom must I pay?
She's beautiful, and therefore to be wooed. She is a woman, therefore to be won.
Wilt thou accept of ransom? Yea or no?
Fond man, remember thou hast a wife. Then how can Margaret be thy paramour?
I were best to leave him, for he will not hear.
There all is marred, there lies the cooling card.
He talks at random, sure the man is mad.
And yet a dispensation may be had.
And yet I would that you would answer me.
I'll win this, Margaret. For whom? Why? For my king. Tush, that's a wooden thing.
He talks of wood. It is some carpenter.
Yet so my fancy may be satisfied and peace established between these realms, but there remains a scruple in that too. For though her father be the King of Naples, Duke of Anjou and Maine, yet is he poor, and our nobility will scorn the match.
Hear ye, Captain, are you not at leisure?
It shall be so. Disdain thee ne'er so much. Henry is youthful, and will quickly yield. Madam, I have a secret to reveal.
What though I be enthralled? He seems a knight, and will not any way dishonor me.
Lady, vouchsafe to listen what I say.
Perhaps I shall be rescued by the French, and then I need not crave his courtesy.
Sweet madam, give me hearing in a cause.
Hush, women have been captivated ere now.
Lady, wherefore talk you so?
I cry you mercy, 'tis but quid for quo.
Say, gentle princess, would you not suppose your bondage happy to be made a queen?
To be a queen in bondage is more vile than is a slave in base servility, for princes should be free.
And so shall you, if happy England's royal king be free.
Why? What concerns his freedom unto me?
I'll undertake to make thee Henry's queen, to put a golden scepter in thy hand and set a precious crown upon thy head, if thou wilt condescend to be my...
What?
His love.
I am unworthy to be Henry's wife.
No, gentle madam, I unworthy am to who so fair a dame to be his wife, and have no portion in the choice myself. How say you, madam? Are ye so content?
And if my father please, I am content. Why do you rate my Lord of Suffolk thus? Although the Duke was enemy to him, yet he most Christian-like laments his death. And for myself, foe as he was to me, might liquid tears or heart-offending groans or blood-consuming sighs recall his life, I would be blind with weeping, sick with groans, look pale as primrose with blood-drinking sighs, and all to have the noble Duke alive. What know I how the world may deem of me? For it is known we were but hollow friends. It may be judged I made the Duke away. So shall my name with slander's tongue be wounded, and princes' courts be filled with my reproach. This get I by his death. Ah, me, unhappy. To be a queen, and crowned with infamy.
Ah, woe is me for Gloucester, wretched man.
Be woe for me, more wretched than he is. What, dost thou turn away and hide thy face? I am no loathsome leper, look on me. What, art thou like the adder waxen deaf? Be poisonous too, and kill thy forlorn queen. Is all thy comfort shut in Gloucester's tomb? Why then, Dame Margaret was ne'er thy joy. Erect his statue and worship it, and make my image but an alehouse sign. Was I for this nigh wrecked upon the sea, and twice by awkward wind from England's bank drove back again into my native clime? What boded this? But well forewarning wind, it seemed to say, seek not a scorpion's nest, nor set no footing on this unkind shore. What did I then, but curse the gentle gusts that, and he that loosed them forth their brazen caves, and bid them blow towards England's blessed shore, or turn our stern upon a dreadful rock. Yet Aeolus would not be a murderer, but left that hateful office unto thee, The pretty vaulting sea refused to drown me, knowing that thou wouldst now be drowned on shore with tears and salted sea. Through thy unkindness, the splitting rocks cowered in the stinking sands, and would not dash me with their ragged sides, because thy flinty heart, more hard than they, might in thy palace perish, Margaret. As far as I could ken the chalky cliffs, when from thy shore the tempest beat us back, I stood upon the hatches in the storm, and when the dusky sky began to rob my earnest gaping sight of thy land's view, I took a costly jewel from my neck, a heart it was, bounded with diamonds, and threw it towards thy land. The sea received it, and so I wished thy body might my heart. And even with this, I lost fair England's view, and bid mine eyes be packing with my heart, and called them blind and dusky spectacles for losing ken of Albion's wished coast. How often have I tempted Suffolk's tongue, the agent of thy foul inconstancy, to sit and witch me as Ascanius did, when he to madding Dido would unfold his father's acts, yeomanst in the burning Troy? Am I not witched like her, or thou not false like him? I mean, I can no more. Die, Margaret, for Henry weeps that thou dost live so long. Oft have I heard that grief softens the mind and makes it fearful and degenerate. Think, therefore, on revenge and cease to weep. But who can cease to weep and look on this? Here may his head lie on my own throbbing breast, but where's the body I should embrace?
What answer makes your grace to the rebels' supplication?
I'll send some holy bishop to entreat. For God forbid so many simple souls should perish by the sword. And I myself, rather than bloody war shall cut them short, will parley with Jack Cade, their general. But stay, I'll read it over once again.
Barbarous villains! Hath this lovely face ruled like a wandering planet over me? And could it not enforce them to relent that were unworthy to behold the same?
Lord, say, Jack Cade hath sworn to have thy head.
Aye, but I hope your highness shall have his.
How now, madam? Still lamenting and mourning for Suffolk's death? I fear me, love, if that I had been dead, thou wouldst not have mourned so much for me.
No, my love, I should not mourn, but die for thee.
Here comes the
Intermessi-
queen. Just looks bewray her anger. I'll steal away.
Exeter, so will I.
Nay, go not from me, I will follow thee.
Be patient, gentle queen, and I will
Who can
stay.
Who can be patient in such extremes? A wretched man, would that I had died a maid and never seen thee, never borne thee a son, seeing thou hast proved so unnatural a father. Hath he deserved to lose his birthright thus? Hadst thou but loved him half so well as I, or felt that pain which I did for him once, or nourished him as I did with my blood, thou wouldst have left thy dearest heart blood there, rather than have that savage duke thine heir, and disinherited thine only son.
Father, you cannot disinherit me. If you be king, why should not I succeed?
Pardon me, Margaret. Pardon me, sweet son. The Earl of Warwick and the Duke enforced me.
Enforced thee? Art thou king, and will be forced? I shame to hear thee speak. Ah, timorous wretch, thou hast undone thyself, thy son, and me, and given unto the house of York such head as thou shalt reign, but by their sufferance. To entail him and his heirs unto the crown, what is it? What is it but to make thy sepulchre and creep into it far before thy time? Warwick is chancellor, and the Lord of Calais. Stern Falconbridge commands the narrow seas. The Duke is made protector of the realm, and yet shalt thou be safe. Such safety finds the trembling lamb environed with wolves. Had I been there, which am a silly woman, the soldiers should have tossed me on their pikes before I would have granted to that act. But thou preferst thy life before thine honor. And seeing thou dost, I here divorce myself both from thy table, Henry, and thy bed, until that act of parliament be repealed, whereby my son is disinherited. The northern lords that have forsworn thy colors will follow mine, if once they see them spread, and spread they shall, to thy foul disgrace and utter ruin of the house of York. Thus do I leave thee. Come, son, let's away. Our army is ready. Come, we'll after them.
Stay, gentle Margaret, and hear me speak.
Thou hast spoke too much already. Get thee gone.
Gentle son Edward, thou wilt stay with me.
Aye, to be murdered by his enemies.
When I return with victory from the field, I'll see your grace. Till then, I'll follow her.
Come, son, away. We may not linger thus.
What?
Exhumed.
Were you snarling all before I came, ready to catch each other by the throat and turn you all your hatred now on me? Did York's dread curse prevail so much with heaven, that Henry's death, my lovely Edward's death, their kingdom's loss, my woeful banishment could all but answer for that peevish brat? Can curses pierce the clouds and enter heaven? Why then, give way, dull clouds, to my quick curses. If not by war, by surfeit die your king, as ours by murder to make him a king. Edward thy son, which now is Prince of Wales, for Edward my son, which was Prince of Wales, die in his youth by like untimely violence. Thyself a queen, for me that was a queen, outlive thy glory like my wretched self. Long mayst thou live to wail thy children's loss, and see another as I see thee now, decked in thy rights, as thou art stalled in mine. Long die thy happy days before thy death, and after many lengthened hours of grief, die neither mother, wife, nor England's queen. Rivers and Dorset, you were standers by, and so wast thou, Lord Hastings, when my son was stabbed with bloody daggers. God, I pray him that none of you may live your natural age, but by some unlooked accident cut off.
Have done thy charm, thou hateful withered hag.
And leave out thee. Stay, dog, for thou shalt hear me. If heaven have any grievous plague in store, exceeding those that I can wish upon thee, oh, let them keep it till thy sins be ripe, and then hurl down their indignation on thee, the troubler of the poor world's peace. The worm of conscience still begnaw thy soul. Thy friends suspect for traitors while thou livest, and take deep traitors for thy dearest friends. No sleep close up that deadly eye of thine, unless it be whilst some tormenting dream affrights thee with a hell of ugly devils. Thou elvish marked, abortive, rooting hog, thou that was sealed in thy nativity, the slave of nature and the son of hell, thou slander of thy mother's heavy womb, thou loathed issue of thy father's loins, thou rag of honor, thou detested
Margaret.
Richard.
Ha!
I call thee not.
I cry thee mercy then, for I had thought that thou hadst called me all these bitter names.
Right, so I did, but I looked for no reply. Oh, let me make the period of my curse.
'Tis done by me, and ends in Margaret.
Thus have you breathed your curse against yourself.
Poor painted queen, vain flourish of my fortune. Why stirrest thou sugar on that bottled spider, whose deadly web ensnareth thee about? Fool, fool, thou whetst a knife to kill thyself. The time will come when thou shalt wish for me to help thee curse that poisonous bunchback toad.
False boding woman, end thy frantic curse, lest thy harm thou move our patience.
Foul shame upon you, you have all moved mine.
Were you well served, you would be taught your duty.
To serve me well, you should all do me duty. Teach me to be your queen and you my subjects. Oh, serve me well and teach yourselves that duty.
Oh, dispute not with her. She is lunatic.
Peace, Master Marcus. You are malapert. Your fire new stamp of honor is scarce current. Oh, that your young nobility could judge what 'twere to lose it and be miserable. They that stand high have many blasts to shake them, and if they fall, they dash themselves to pieces.
Good counsel. Mary, learn it. Learn it, Marquess.
It toucheth you, my lord, as much as me.
Yea, and much more. But I was born so high, our eyrie buildeth in the cedar's top, and dallies with the winds and scorns the sun.
And turns the sun to shade. Alas, alas. Witness my son, now in the shade of death, whose bright outshining beams thy cloudy wrath hath in eternal darkness folded up. Your eyrie buildeth in our eyrie's nest. O God, that seest it, do not suffer it. As it was won with blood, lost be it so.
Have done. For shame, if not for charity.
Urged neither charity nor shame to me. Uncharitably uncharitably with me have you dealt, and shamefully by you my hopes are butchered. My charity is outraged, life my shame, and in that shame still live my sorrow's rage.
Have done, have done.
Oh, princely Buckingham, I'll kiss thy hand, in sign of league and amity with thee. Now fair befall thee and thy noble house. Thy garments are not spotted with our blood, nor thou within the compass of my curse.
Nor no one here, for curses never pass the lips of those that breathe them in the air.
I'll not believe but they ascend the sky. and there awake God's gentle sleeping peace. O Buckingham, take heed of yonder dog. Look, when he fawns, he bites, and when he bites, his venom tooth will rankle to the death. Have naught to do with him. Beware of him. Sin, death, and hell have set their marks on him, and all their ministers attend on him.
What doth she say, my lord of Buckingham?
Nothing that I respect, my gracious lord.
What? Dost thou scorn me for my gentle counsel and soothe the devil that I warn thee from? But remember this another day, when he shall split thy very heart with sorrow and say poor Margaret was a prophetess. Live each of you to subjects to his hate, and he to yours, and all of you to God's.
So now prosperity begins to mellow and drop into the rotten mouth of death. Here in these confines slyly have I lurked to watch the waning of mine adversaries. A dire induction am I witness to, and will to France, hoping the consequence will prove as bitter, black, and tragical. Withdraw thee, wretched Margaret. Who comes here?
Enter Queen Elizabeth and the Duchess of York.
Oh, my young princes. Oh, my tender babes. My unblown flowers, new appearing sweets. If yet your gentle souls fly in the air and be not fixed in doom perpetual, hover about me with your airy wings and hear your mother's lamentation.
Hover about her. Say that right for right hath dimmed your infant morn to ancient night.
So many miseries have crazed my voice that my woe-weary tongue is mute and dumb. Edward Plantagenet, why art thou dead?
Plantagenet doth quit Plantagenet. Edward for Edward pays a dying debt.
Wilt thou, O God, fly from such gentle lambs and throw them in the entrails of the wolf? When didst thou sleep when such a deed was done?
When holy Harry died, and my sweet son.
Blind sight, dead life, poor mortal living ghost, woes seen, world's shame, graves due by life usurped, brief abstract and record of tedious days, rest thy unrest on England's lawful earth.
Sitting down.
Unlawfully made drunk with innocent's blood.
Oh, that thou wouldst as well afford a grave as thou canst yield a melancholy seat. Then would I hide my bones, not rest them here. Who hath any cause to mourn but I?
If ancient sorrow be most reverend, give mine the benefit of signory, and let my woes frown on the upper hand. If sorrow can admit society, tell o'er your woes again by viewing mine. I had an Edward till a Richard killed him. I had a Harry till a Richard killed him. Thou hadst an Edward till a Richard killed him. Thou hadst a Richard till a Richard killed him.
I had a Richard too, and thou didst kill him. I had a Rutland too, thou holpst to kill him.
Thou hadst a Clarence too, and Richard killed him. From forth the kennel of thy womb hath crept a hellhound that doth hunt us all to death. That dog that had his teeth before his eyes to worry lambs and lap their gentle blood, that foul defacer of God's handiwork, that excellent grand tyrant of the earth that reigns in galled eyes of weeping souls, thy womb let loose to chase us to our graves. Oh, upright, just, and true disposing God, how do I thank thee that this carnal cur preys on the issue of his mother's body and makes her pew fellow with others' moan.
O Harry's wife, triumph not in my woes. God witness with me, I have wept for thine.
Bear with me, I am hungry for revenge, and now I cloy me with beholding it. Thy Edward, he is dead that stabbed my Edward. Thy other Edward dead to quit my Edward. Young York, he is but boot, but because both they match not the high perfection of my son. Thy Clarence, he is dead that killed my Edward, and the beholders of this tragic play, the adulterate Hastings, Rivers, Vaughan, Grey, untimely smothered in their dusky graves. Richard yet lives, hell's black intelligencer, only reserved their factor, to buy souls and send them thither. But at hand ensues his piteous and unpitied end. Earth gapes, hell burns, fiends roar, saints pray to have him suddenly conveyed away. Cancel his bond of life, dear God, I pray, that I may live to say the dog is dead.
Oh, thou didst prophesy the time would come that I should wish for thee to help me curse that bottled spider, that foul bunch-backed toad.
I called thee then vain flourish of my fortune. I called thee then poor shadow, painted queen, the presentation but of but what I was, the flattering index of a direful pageant, one heaved a high to be hurled down below, a mother only mocked with two sweet babes, a dream of that what thou wert, a breath, a bubble, a sign of dignity, a garish flag, to be the aim of every dangerous shot, a queen in jest, only to fill the scene. Where is thy husband now? Where be thy brothers? Where are thy children? Wherein dost thou joy? Who sues to thee and cries, God save the queen? Where be the bending peers that flattered thee? Where be the thronging troops that followed thee? Decline all this and see what now thou art. For happy wife, a most distressed widow. For joyful mother, one that wails the name. For queen, a very caitiff, crowned with care. For one being sued to, one that humbly sues. For one that scorned at me, now scorned of me. For one being feared of all, now fearing one. For one commanding all, obeyed of none. Thus hath the course of justice wheeled about and left thee but a very prey to time, having no more but thought of what thou wert, to torture thee the more, being what thou art. Thou didst usurp my place, and dost thou not now usurp the just proportion of my sorrow? Now thy proud neck bears half my burthened yoke, from which even here I slip my weary neck and leave the burthen of it all on thee. Farewell, York's wife and queen of sad mischance. These English woes will make me smile in France.
Oh, thou well skilled in curses, stay a while and teach me how to curse mine enemies.
Forbear to sleep the nights and fast the days. Compare dead happiness with living woe. Think that thy babes were fairer than they were, and he that slew them fouler than he is. Bettering thy loss makes the bad causer worse. Revolving this will teach thee how to curse.
My words are dull. Oh, quicken them with thine.
Thy woes will make them sharp and pierce like mine.